Welcome back to Duckman Cycles VW Garage. I'm your host, the Duckman. We're back today, not just with my 1956 Beetle, but also questions. This is my midday Q&A video that I started doing. This is the second part to the series. And I'm going to try to start doing these middle of the day. You know, right around lunchtime-ish, you know, I'm on Central Time over here. So right around noon Central Time, I'm going to release a video. And it's not going to be an everyday thing, but it's going to be a somewhat regular thing. And it's in the best interest of putting my talky stuff into a place where people can accept a little more. Because I noticed that in my tech videos, some people are crabbing and complaining that I talk too much. And I may talk too much, but I'm trying to explain what's going on. But I'm going to limit my tech videos to a lot less talking and a lot more work so you can see some more of the progress and put more of my talking in the form of Q&A in other videos that I upload, again, middle of the day. Tech videos will go up around midnight Central Time, and talky videos will go up around noon Central Time. So that's how we're going to continue uploading that for the time being. And like I said, talky videos aren't going to come out every day. They might, but you're going to have your complimentary video. And I noticed channels like AMC, you know, is one of the ones that'll do that. They'll have Better Call Saul, and then right after that, they'll have Talking Saul. So it's kind of the same situation, and I think that's what I'm going to start rolling out here. And if it works, I'm going to stick with it. But the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to discuss the first question I got, and over my shoulder, they've been seeing this, and what is it? Well, it's actually a part to an air cleaner on top of a DeLorto dual-barrel carburetor. So this is one of those things that has been seen in the background of just about every one of my intro videos right over my shoulder. And this is a 36 double DeLorto carburetor, and I have a couple of these. This is just where one of them happens to be. I don't even know why I stuck it there, but that's where it's at. Inside of this box is a set of 94mm long pistons, and I have a air ratchet up here and a few other intakes and some other stuff. Up in here I have a whole bunch of tins, not just tins from Volkswagens, but also a whole bunch of like bodywork from motorcycles and stuff. There's a radiator and a few other things in there. Stuff that I can't throw away. This is stuff that's useful to me, and I'm actually been using from this pile to build other things. So stuff that's in here is going to stay. Down below on this shelf, though, I'm probably going to clear some of this out this spring. Now that the car show has already happened, I'm not in as much of a mad rush to get things done on this car, so we're going to slow down a little bit on that. Just a little bit on that. I mean, just a little bit. To try to clean up some of the mess that's here in the shop. And give myself a little more space. And not just for workspace, because there's really not enough room in this garage anyway, but rather for more storage of stuff. I have some stuff out in the yard that I'd rather have inside and out of the weather. So some of the things that are in here, I'm either going to start giving away, throwing away, or selling. Some of it's going to disappear. Up there is my big pile of shit. You may have seen that a few times. This is actually a joke that my dad used some expanding foam, painted it brown when he worked at a hardware store, and he shoved it up behind the restroom toilet. Because that's the kind of guy he is. And if you watch some of my old videos, you may remember Zombaby. And Zombaby's always here looking over me. And Zombaby happens to live inside of an what the hell is it? RZ, it's a Yamaha 600. What the fuck? You know, one of them, I don't remember. It's a Yamaha sport bike, rear swing arm here. And I got it for a project and ended up not using it. I just really liked the way it looked. So I thought it would be kind of good to fit on one of my bikes, and it turned out it was just too big and bulky. And it wasn't going to fit. But anyway, it hangs there, and that's where Zombaby lives, watching over me. Zombaby may appear from time to time. In fact, I should have taken Zombaby to the car show. But Zombaby may appear from time to time. And that's where Zombaby is at. Some of you have asked. Some of my longtime YouTubers that have been watching me from 10 years ago do periodically ask, you know, where's Zombaby? And is Zombaby going to make another appearance? And there's Zombaby. I don't know if it's he or she. Nobody's really sure. It does wear pink, but, you know, it does boyish things. Maybe it's just confused. Today's day and age, you can't tell anyway. I'll let it use either bathroom that it wants to. Okay, one of the next things that we need to do is tell you to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that little dingle belly down there next to the subscribe button. That way you get updates every time I upload a new video. And with that said, join Duckman Cycles and VW Garage Facebook page. There'll be discussion of some of my projects, maybe a little more of the Q&A. If you got a question about one of my projects that you want me to answer for you, that'll be the time to ask, because we're going to start doing these, like I said, right around noon Central Time. So I'm going to have a midday video release just about every day, as long as I have good questions to support it and I have some material to put in it. Otherwise, it ain't going to happen. So anyways, let's go ahead and roll that intro. Thanks for watching. Okay, we're back. In one of my comments that I received this week, somebody said, when I mentioned if I won the Powerball, that I would go ahead and get this car serviced or fixed by Earl over there in Cocoa Beach, and have this car finished, of course, in a much shorter period of time, as well as have him do the beautiful paintwork on it, and paying him in money. Real money. But Powerball is very specifically what I said, but what I really meant was the lotto. And it doesn't mean it has to be, a $500 million like something you would find in the Powerball, but, it could be $1 million, $500,000, and depends on the size of the lotto. And somebody said it'll take you 15 days to go ahead and start receiving money from it, but that doesn't mean that I have to wait to have Earl start working on the car. There's the logic, okay? Of course, it's cash on delivery. I pay him when he's done, and then I'll probably give him a little bit more on top of it. And you could ask some people like A-Bomb, what that means to him, because when he charged me for the project of doing the front brakes on here, I gave him a little more on top of it. I'm not one of those people that doesn't give people what they deserve, and I like to throw in a little gratuity, and he got one, and so would Earl. So anyway, yeah, I don't have to wait 15 days to go ahead and get the work started. And some lottos, like Powerball or Mega Millions, it might take 15 days, it may take an entire month. It all depends on how fast the states can coordinate their banking and pull the money together to give it to you. So yeah, it could take a lot longer than that. And if it's a state lotto, and let's say I did win $12 million in the Florida Lotto, they pay out as fast as 48 hours. So it all depends on the size of it. But like I said, there's always Earl, and I'm sure Earl will get the work done, and then I can pay him afterwards. And you know what? I've got about $50,000, $60,000 in credit cards available to me too. So I can always pay them off if the money's going to be there next month. I don't even have to pay interest on it. So yeah, thanks for your concern, you guys, but it doesn't exactly work the way you think. Now, when this car rusted up the other day, when I took it out to the car show and it got unfortunately rained on, I went ahead and splattered phosphoric acid all over it, and it took off all the rust. Leaves a little bit of a white residue, but that can all be cleaned off with just a damp rag. Not a soaking wet rag, just a lightly dampened rag, and you just kind of wipe it off. If there's really excessive buildup, you can use like a toothbrush, and you can brush some of it off, and it's not a problem. Somebody asked me, though, where can you get the phosphoric acid? And I post this in just about every one of my videos. Right down in the video comment, there is a link to find exactly the same phosphoric acid that I use and is intended for restoring old cars. So you can find that link down below. You can purchase it there. You can have exactly the same product that I have. And yeah, they do give me a little kickback on it. I think I make about 30 cents for every bottle that I sell. So if you'd like to buy a bottle of the phosphoric acid that I use, go ahead and go down to my video description and click that link. In fact, I'll also put it in the comments. I'll go ahead and pin it as the first comment. So there's a link to find the phosphoric acid. It's really easy to find. I post it on every video in the video description. So, that's where you're going to find it. And if I can help you any more with that, I'll respond to your comment and I'll post the link in your comment if that helps you additionally. So yeah, buy the product so that way I get my 30 cents. If I sell 100 of them, I might actually feel good. I might get $30. I can go take somebody out for some McDonald's. If you were going to do a custom, why didn't you buy a split window? Because split windows are really hard to find. And I think if I had an original split window, I don't know that I'd chop it up. Ovals are much more commonplace, but splits, they never got imported to the United States, short of anybody that, say, was an active military person or actually paid to have it shipped personally. Volkswagen never imported split windows to the United States. So for them to be here in the States, they are incredibly rare. You're more likely, I would say, more likely to find one somewhere over in Europe than here, because there's just a ton less of them over here. You're just not going to find a whole lot of them. So for me to cut up a split window and build a custom out of it, I think that probably wouldn't be in my best interest. I think I'd probably restore the split window as best I could to original shape, cash in on it, and then build me an oval for cheap. And in the case of this oval, this one was relatively cheap. And when it comes down to it, I actually made a little bit of money on it and reinvested it into parts. So I was way in the plus for quite a while, buying up stuff. And I'm not going to say she broke even since I started buying the Porsche parts on it. It actually cost me more money. But as I mentioned once before in one of my videos, I probably shouldn't tally up the number of dollars that I spent on this, but rather count the number of rum and colas that I made instead that went into the making of this project. Count the number of beers that I had during the building of this project. How about I start counting all the cuts and scrapes that I've gotten on me because of this project, or all the different little minor injuries, or tendinitis, or pulled muscles, or whatever else that I did. In fact, the other day I had a cutting disc explode on me. Well, it didn't explode. I had a cutting disc explode once, and it actually hit the garage door, and it left a hell of a dent in it. And thankfully it had the guard on it, and I never put myself directly in line with the cutting disc. I always make sure it's off a little bit. So if it explodes, the worst it's going to do is, hit me in the arm or something. It's not going to hit me in the chest, it's not going to hit me in the face, and God forbid one of my eyes. But yeah, I try to make the disc not be directly in my path, and that's what it did. It bounced off the guard and it hit the garage door. So like I said, I was safe. but I had a cutting disc and it didn't explode. It actually shredded, and I threw it away since, but it actually, the arbor in the middle kind of gouged through it and just tore it, and it split into two pieces and got twisted up in the workpiece that I was working on instead of just exploding. It was the strangest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen one take that kind of force and it just shredded itself. It's like a rag joint. There's actually a fabric inside of it that holds it together. And I didn't realize that until I actually saw how the thing shredded. But yeah, it was pretty mangled. Wish I had it around. I'd make a video of that. But no, I survived that one, so good to go. So I've been asked a bunch of times, what am I going to do for Eleanor's taillights? And I got a bunch of ideas in mind, but every single one of them involves the stock taillights. I'd really rather put the stock taillights back on there. So inside of my sandblaster here, they've been inside of here for about the last year. These are the stock taillights that came off of this car. Now, they are pretty badly pitted, but nothing that can't be fixed. There's really not a whole lot of rust through. I mean, there's a couple of pinholes you can see here, but ultimately they're really not that bad other than that one notch that you see out of it. But what I'd like to do is put these original stock taillights back on. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of math to calculate where they're supposed to be. And I want to put them at whatever the stock height is for a 56. And I want to say it's right about there. But I also want to center them in the fender. So whatever measurements you would use on a stock fender would probably put them right about here. But because these are wider fenders, I'm going to have to push them about 2 1/4 inches off to the right. And why 2 1/4 inches? That's because this fender is 4 1/2 inches wider than stock. So I'd have to push it over to get it centered to where it needed to be. Now, Chris Vallone over there at Classic VW Bugs, I think that's his name. I'm probably saying the wrong one, but I know it is Chris Vallone. Bright Eye Films. That's the name of his YouTube channel. So if you do watch any of his stuff, you'll see that he's got a really big and beautiful shop up in, I believe, Nanuet, New York, somewhere up there, right on the Hudson Valley. I actually used to live up there, and we grew up in school. I mean, probably no more than about 20, 30 minutes apart. But we didn't know each other. We didn't know each other at all. We're approximately the same age. It's kind of funny. You may hear when I talk, I still have that accent like he does, but it's much more richer for him because he spent his whole life there. I've moved around and lived a lot of other places, so I guess my accent has become a little more mellow. But yeah, stock taillights are going up on here. In fact, if I can find a piece of duct tape, I'll stick it on there just to give you an idea what it's going to look like. So let's see what I can find. All right, there's the taillights on there. Now, I don't know if that's a stock height. It might be approximately correct, but I got to do some of the math on that and check that out. But that's a noisy car. I don't know if that's quite the stock height. I'll have to do a little math on that and some measurements to figure out exactly where they're supposed to be. I just kind of eyeballed it and quick stuck them on there with a little bit of masking tape. But as far as the lenses and what I'm going to do with them, well, the housings may be stock and they are original to this car. What I'm probably going to wind up doing is putting some LED taillights on there. When your taillights are not much bigger than an egg, they're kind of hard to see. So I'd like to make them super, super bright, and being if I put in LEDs, they'll last near forever. So I've got an LED kit somewhere, and the only downside to that I don't really like is the original lenses were glass. They weren't plastic, they were glass. And the LED ones are, well, they're plastic. I don't want to put LED bulbs in, rather, but I'd rather use a proper LED sheet, a panel. Nice! Nice! But I'd like to put in a proper LED sheet that goes in there that'll fill up this entire area. And LEDs are somewhat directional, so I may have to put the taillights up a little bit higher. I forget what year it was that they raised the taillights. It might have been 56. But at one point, the taillights had to be raised up a little bit because the overriders that they put on the bumper were kind of blocking the taillights. So they raised them up on the fenders just a few inches, and it made all the difference in the world. But yeah, right now Eleanor's a one-eyed Willy. Sorry, Eleanor. Looks like you lost one of your lights. All right. We'll get these things put back in the blaster. I got to finish cleaning them up. I got to put a coat of phosphoric acid, a little bit of filler on here, and I'm going to have to weld that corner in to get that thing fixed. Otherwise, they're not in too bad a shape. And all the internal parts of them are freely and readily available to replace, but since I'm going with LEDs, a lot of it I'm not going to use. But I think you guys get the point on that one. So, that was a good question. Thanks for asking. So what do I have on the list for bumpers? I would like to put bumpers on this car. I certainly would. But stock ones aren't going to fit right. Number one, I don't have the bumper holes cut. I'll have to fix that. And being that this was a much later front end that I put on here, the bumper holes would typically not come through the front apron. They would typically come out of the fenders. So I'm not going to cut the holes in the fenders in the front. I want to keep it looking like it was stock OEM from the 56 year. So I'm going to have to weld in some mounts to the inside of the lower trunk area in here. And I've got the mounts to do it, and they don't quite fit right because a lot of the sheet metal is a different shape, different contours. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of science and fitting on there to make it happen. But I'd like to get a great set of stock bumpers to bolt on the front here. But the problem with stock bumpers is this front end is roughly 6 inches wider than stock. The rear end is 9 inches wider than stock. Stock bumpers are going to be really small and look really stupid. So what I'm probably going to have to do is find a set of old bumper blades, something that's, kind of fallen apart in rough shape, cut them in the middle, weld the two pieces together, extra long, bolt them onto the fit, have them re-chromed, be done with it. Or I'm not going to put any bumpers on it at all. We'll decide what we're going to do later. It's certainly not high on the list of things to do. I mean, that I consider trim. That's stuff that's just going to come later. Okay, I did receive some parts that came in here this week, and one of which is a set of wheel spacers. And I talked about this previously, but these are my 1-inch wheel spacers that are going to go on these front wheels because they're way too sucked in. I don't like the way they're positioned. And in this other box that just showed up about an hour ago is the set of extra long Porsche wheel studs. So these wheel studs are going to get pressed into the hubs that are on the front there and get that taken care of. And these are originally intended for Porsche 901, I believe it is. I'm looking here. Yeah, the part number is a 901. I believe a 901 was actually a 911. So, yeah, I did pay a primo for those, and that set of wheel studs right there was over $100. So, yeah, those were expensive. Those were expensive. But here's something really cool that we got, and if this is what I think it is, we're going to find out. I haven't actually opened it yet. I just tore my address off of it. But, yep, it's what I think it is. This is something that I've been wanting for a little while. There we go. Support A-Bomb 79. I went and picked me up a nice shirt. Yeah, I had to get a nice shirt. I'll start wearing this in some of my future videos. But, yeah, I need to give him a little bit of promotion. He did a lot of work for me, getting these front discs fit to these special Porsche hubs onto the Volkswagen spindles. I mean, he really put a lot of work into that. And, I mean, I paid him for it. I did pay him for it. But, I mean, the work that he did and the promotion that he had given me through the YouTube, I mean, that's priceless. And I gained a lot of subscribers as a result. And I had to give something else back, and I think the something else I'm going to give back is by wearing his shirt once in a while in some of my videos. Pretty cool, huh? If you want to buy one, check out A-Bomb79, look at his website. Also check out his Patreon. I forget what the address is, but I'm going to flash it up on the screen here, and maybe I'll throw it up in a card. It'll be available to you, however, so make sure that you click the link, buy yourself a Booth Machine Shop shirt, and sooner, probably sooner than later, we're going to start having some Duckman Cycles t-shirts. If you're interested in a Duckman Cycles t-shirt, post a comment down below. Let me know that it is something that you want. I'm going to try to price them competitively. I don't like overpriced t-shirts. I don't buy overpriced t-shirts, so I'm not going to try to make you buy an overpriced t-shirt. But they're going to be priced competitively, and we're going to have a nice design. I'm going to release some ones that are sensible, and I'm going to release a couple others that are kind of in line with my sense of humor. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I like to get the giggles. And some of the jokes that I make sometimes are a little off color, but, it'll be a glorious pun if I do put one on the shirt. So, anyways, thanks for that. Thanks for Adam. Thanks for him doing the work for me. And I think this t-shirt's pretty cool, and we're going to try to wear it in the next video. So anyways, I hope that answers some people's questions, some of the things that are coming up this week, and a little bit of the future plans of what I have going on. As always, if you like my videos, please give me that thumbs up, comment, subscribe to A-Bomb79. Don't just subscribe to me. Subscribe to Earl over there at CCC. I'll flash the links up to these guys on the screen. They'll also be down below in the video description. Thank you guys for supporting me and helping me however you can. And Earl has taught me a lot of good products to use on this car just the same. He built the Christine movie car, if I haven't said that already. And you guys really do need to check out his work. He's also got a Facebook page too. I'll put all the links down in the video description, so you're gonna want to go down there and find these guys. Really cool guys. So anyways, I think that wraps up my midday lunchtime question video. So if you have any other questions to anything that you'd like to see, or questions on anything that you've seen me do that you don't understand, now's the time to post them. Post them down below. Let's hear what you've got. Ask that question, and I'll see if I can get it answered in an upcoming video, maybe even tomorrow's lunchtime video. We'll just see what happens with that. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Duckman Cycles VW Garage on Facebook. Don't forget to join. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bwah.